First contact. In the near future, humanity's quest to explore the cosmos had reached an unprecedented milestone. The first manned mission to a planet beyond Mars had been launched, aiming to explore the mysterious planet of Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons. The mission was led by Commander Daniel Kane, a seasoned astronaut with a reputation for being both brave and meticulous. As the spacecraft Artemis 1 descended through Enceladus' icy plumes, Kane's heart raced with anticipation and a hint of apprehension. The mission was not only a leap forward for human exploration, but also a personal journey for Kane, who had dedicated his life to the stars. Kane stood at the helm of the control center, watching the planet's icy surface grow larger on the viewscreen. His team, a carefully selected group of scientists and engineers, worked diligently around him, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the control panels. The descent was smooth, yet each of them knew that the true challenges lay ahead, beneath the frozen crust of Enceladus. "Commander, we're approaching the landing zone," said Dr. Maya Patel, the mission's chief scientist. Her voice was steady, but Kane could sense the underlying excitement. "Roger that, Dr. Patel," Kane replied. "Prepare for touchdown. Everyone, double-check your systems." The spacecraft shuddered slightly as it broke through the thin atmosphere, the icy landscape spreading out beneath them like a winter desert. The landing thrusters engaged, slowing their descent until they touched down with a gentle thud. The Artemis 1 had landed on Enceladus. "Landing successful," reported Lieutenant Alex Navarro, the mission's pilot. "All systems are green." Kane took a deep breath, allowing himself a brief moment of relief. "Excellent work, everyone. Dr. Patel, begin the surface analysis. Let's see what we've got out there." As the team busied themselves with their tasks, Kane stepped towards the airlock, preparing for the first extravehicular activity, EVA. The moment was historic, and he felt the weight of humanity's expectations on his shoulders. He glanced at a photograph taped to the inside of his helmet, his wife and daughter smiling up at him. It was a reminder of what he was doing this for and who he was doing it for. "Commander Kane, are you ready?" asked Dr. Patel, her voice crackling through the comms. "Ready as I'll ever be," Kane replied with a smile. He sealed his helmet and initiated the airlock sequence. The airlock door opened, revealing the stark, alien landscape of Enceladus. Kane stepped out, his boots crunching on the icy surface. He took a moment to look around, absorbing the surreal beauty of the place. The surface was dotted with jagged ice formations, glistening under the distant light of the sun. Geysers of water vapor erupted sporadically from the ground, casting ephemeral rainbows in the thin atmosphere. "First steps on Enceladus," Kane reported back to the team. "The surface is stable. Let's proceed with the mission." As he moved forward, deploying various scientific instruments, his thoughts drifted to the significance of their mission. Enceladus had long been considered one of the prime candidates for extraterrestrial life in the solar system, due to its subsurface ocean. If life existed here, it would be humanity's first contact with an alien species, a discovery that would change the course of history. Hours passed as the team conducted their initial surveys, collecting samples and data. The excitement of the landing gave way to the routine of scientific investigation. Kane's mind was focused, yet a nagging feeling of unease lingered at the back of his mind. The environment was harsh but beautiful, silent but for the occasional hiss of escaping gas from the geysers. There was something about this place that felt alive. "Commander, we're detecting an anomaly." Dr. Patel's voice broke through his thoughts. "Subsurface readings indicate a large, hollow cavity beneath us. It's unlike anything we've seen before." Kane's heart skipped a beat. Could it be a cavern? Possibly. The data suggests it's filled with liquid water. "We should investigate further." Kane nodded, feeling a surge of excitement. "Agreed. Let's set up the drilling equipment. We need to see what's down there." The team worked quickly, setting up the drill and positioning it over the site of the anomaly. As the drill bored into the ice, Kane watched the readouts, his anticipation growing with each passing moment. If they found something beneath the surface, it could be the discovery of a lifetime. Hours turned into minutes, and finally the drill broke through. A rush of warm, mineral-rich water erupted from the hole, quickly freezing in the frigid air. Kane peered into the opening, his flashlight beam penetrating the darkness below. "What do you see, Commander?" Dr. Patel asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. "Looks like a cavern," Kane replied. "I'm going in." He secured a rope to the edge of the hole and began his descent, the icy walls glistening around him. As he lowered himself into the darkness, he felt the temperature rise slightly, a sign of the subsurface ocean they had theorized about. The cavern opened up around him, revealing a vast underground lake, its surface shimmering in the faint light. Kane landed on a small ledge, taking in the breathtaking sight. The cavern was massive, the ceiling lost in shadow. Stalactites of ice hung from above, and the water below glowed with an eerie bioluminescent light. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. "Commander, do you copy?" Dr. Patel's voice crackled through his comms. "Copy, Dr. Patel," Kane replied. "I've reached the cavern. It's incredible. I'm going to take some samples." As he began to collect samples from the glowing water, something caught his eye, a shadow moving beneath the surface. His heart pounded as he watched the shape glide through the water, its movements graceful and deliberate. "Dr. Patel, I think there's something down here," Kane said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Be careful, Commander," Dr. Patel replied. "We don't know what we're dealing with." Kane watched as the shadow grew larger, moving closer to the surface. He held his breath, his pulse racing. The water rippled, and suddenly, a creature emerged from the depths, its form illuminated by the bioluminescence. The alien was unlike anything Kane had ever imagined. It was tall and slender, with translucent skin that glowed softly in the darkness. Its eyes were large and intelligent, reflecting a curious, almost cautious nature. The creature moved with a fluid grace, its long limbs propelling it through the water with ease. Kane's mind raced with a mix of awe and fear. This was it, the first contact with an alien species. He reached for his communicator, his hand trembling. "Dr. Patel, we have contact," he said, his voice shaking. "There's a life form down here. It's incredible." The creature regarded Kane with its large, expressive eyes, seemingly studying him. Kane felt a strange connection to it, a sense of mutual curiosity and caution. He took a deep breath, trying to steady his nerves. "Hello," he said softly, his voice echoing in the cavern. "My name is Daniel Kane. I come in peace." The creature tilted its head, its eyes never leaving Kane. For a moment there was only silence, and then, to Kane's astonishment, the creature began to emit a series of soft, melodic sounds. It was a language, a form of communication. Kane's mind raced as he tried to make sense of the sounds. He knew this was a historic moment, one that would change everything. He reached for his communicator again, knowing that the entire world would be listening. "Dr. Patel, we need to record this," he said, his voice filled with urgency. "This is the beginning of something extraordinary." As he spoke, the creature continued to sing, its voice filling the cavern with an otherworldly melody. Kane knew that he was witnessing the dawn of a new era. The first contact with an alien species, a moment that would forever alter the course of human history. The creature's melodious song echoed through the cavern, its notes resonating with a deep, almost primal rhythm that sent shivers down Kane's spine. He watched in awe, every fiber of his being attuned to the significance of this moment. This was the first contact humanity had ever made with an alien species, and it was happening in the most surreal and unexpected way. "Dr. Patel, are you receiving this?" Kane's voice was steady, though his heart was racing. "Yes, Commander. We're recording everything," Dr. Patel replied, her voice tinged with excitement and wonder. "This is incredible. Try to communicate further." Kane nodded, though he knew she couldn't see him. He took a step closer to the edge of the ledge, his movements slow and deliberate. The creature watched him intently, its luminous eyes tracking his every motion. "My name is Daniel," Kane repeated, pointing to himself. Daniel. The creature paused its song, tilting its head as if considering his words. It then emitted a series of sounds that seemed almost like a question. Kane pointed to himself again. Daniel. The creature's eyes widened slightly, and it repeated the sound he had made, though in its own melodious tone. Daniel. Kane felt a thrill of triumph. This was it, a breakthrough. He decided to try something more. He pointed to the creature. Who are you? The creature seemed to understand that he was asking for its name. It emitted a complex series of notes, a name that was as beautiful and alien as its appearance. Kane tried to mimic the sounds as best as he could, feeling somewhat foolish but knowing the importance of this exchange. Alarith. The creature's eyes lit up with what Kane could only interpret as approval. It repeated its name, Alarith, and then pointed to Kane. Daniel. Kane felt a sense of connection, a bridge between their two worlds starting to form. He activated his suit's translation software, hoping it might begin to recognize patterns in Alarith's speech. Alarith, we come in peace, Kane said slowly, gesturing to himself and then to the surface above. We come to learn and to share. Alarith's head tilted again, and it seemed to consider his words. It then pointed to the water, and a series of images and sounds flooded Kane's mind. Images of Enceladus' icy surface, the deep ocean beneath, and a community of beings like Alarith, living in harmony within this alien world. There was a sense of history, of a culture rich and ancient, and also a feeling of caution and wariness. Kane's eyes widened as he processed the flood of information. Alarith and its kind were not primitive. They were intelligent and aware, with a deep connection to their environment. He knew he had to proceed carefully, respecting their world and their ways. Alarith, he said gently, we want to understand. We want to be friends. Alarith seemed to ponder this, then it emitted another series of notes, this time more complex. The translation software began to work, deciphering the basic structure of the language. Peace, it said, the first word translated clearly. Understanding. Friendship. Kane felt a surge of hope. This was the beginning of something profound. He activated his communicator again. Dr. Patel, Alarith understands us. It's cautious but open to communication. We need to proceed with respect and care. Understood, Commander, Dr. Patel replied. We'll continue to monitor and assist from here. This is a monumental achievement. Kane turned his attention back to Alarith, who was now moving closer, its movements fluid and graceful. It reached out a hand, or what Kane interpreted as a hand, towards him. Kane extended his own hand, the gesture universal and ancient. As their hands met, Kane felt a connection unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was as if their minds touched, a brief but intense exchange of thoughts and emotions. He felt Alarith's curiosity, its cautious optimism, and its deep connection to its world. In return, he conveyed his own sense of wonder, his respect for their culture, and his desire for peaceful collaboration. Alarith, he said softly, we have so much to learn from each other. Alarith nodded, its eyes reflecting a new understanding. It gestured for Kane to follow, leading him deeper into the cavern. Kane followed, knowing that this was just the beginning of their journey together. As they moved through the subterranean landscape, Kane's communicator buzzed with updates from the team on the surface. They had detected more of Alarith's kind, observing from a distance but not approaching. It was clear that this first contact was being watched closely by both sides. Alarith, can you show me your home? Kane asked, hoping to learn more about their way of life. Alarith nodded and led him to a hidden tunnel, its walls shimmering with bioluminescent plants. As they walked, Kane marveled at the beauty and complexity of the ecosystem. It was clear that Alarith's people lived in harmony with their environment, a lesson that humanity could learn from. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber, a city carved from ice and stone. Structures of incredible design rose from the ground, illuminated by the same glowing plants. Kane could see other beings moving about, their movements graceful and fluid. They paused to look at him, their expressions a mix of curiosity and caution. Kane's heart swelled with awe. This was a thriving, intelligent civilization, hidden beneath the ice of Enceladus. He knew that this discovery would change everything, not just for humanity but for the entire galaxy. "Ilarith, your home is beautiful," he said sincerely. "We want to learn and share with you, to build a future together." Ilarith's eyes softened, and it gestured to the city around them. "Future," it said, the translation software capturing the word. "Together." As they stood in the heart of Ilarith's city, Kane felt a sense of hope and possibility. This was the dawn of a new era, a chance for humanity to learn and grow, to build bridges across the stars. But as they began to communicate and learn from each other, a shadow loomed on the horizon. Unknown to Kane and his team, a signal had been intercepted by a rival faction back on Earth, one with far less noble intentions. They saw the discovery of Ilarith's people not as a chance for peaceful collaboration, but as an opportunity for exploitation and power. As the days turned into weeks, Kane and Ilarith worked together, sharing knowledge and understanding. They faced challenges and misunderstandings, but their bond grew stronger with each passing day. The team on the surface established a base of operations, working closely with the inhabitants of Enceladus to ensure a mutually beneficial relationship. However, the arrival of a new heavily armed spacecraft shattered the fragile peace. The rival faction, led by the ruthless General Harland, had come to claim Enceladus for themselves. They saw the alien technology and resources as a means to gain supremacy, regardless of the cost to Ilarith's people. Kane stood at the forefront, ready to defend their newfound allies. "We can't let them destroy what we've built," he said, determination in his voice. Ilarith, standing by his side, echoed his sentiment. "Together," it said, its voice filled with resolve, "we fight." The battle for Enceladus was fierce, with both sides clashing over the future of the moon and its inhabitants. Kane and his team, alongside Ilarith and its people, fought valiantly to protect their home. The conflict tested their strength, their courage, and their resolve. In the end, it was the bond between Kane and Ilarith, between humanity and the people of Enceladus, that turned the tide. Their unity, their shared hope for a better future, overcame the forces of greed and exploitation. As the smoke cleared and the invaders were repelled, Kane stood with Ilarith, looking out over the city they had fought to protect. "We did it," he said, relief and triumph in his voice. Ilarith nodded, its eyes reflecting a deep sense of gratitude. "Future," it said softly. "Together." Kane knew that their journey was far from over. There would be challenges ahead, new discoveries to be made, and more to learn from each other. But he also knew that they had taken the first steps towards a brighter future, one where humanity and the people of Enceladus could build a new world together. And so, as the first rays of sunlight pierced the icy surface of Enceladus, Kane and Ilarith stood side by side, ready to face whatever the future held. Their story was one of courage, unity, and the enduring spirit of exploration, a testament to the limitless potential of the human spirit and the bonds that can be forged across the stars.
This has been a Storytime story on YouTube. Thanks for listening.